Hello, everyone. We will be getting started in just a minute. Looks like we've got more people logging in, so we want to make sure that we allow everyone a chance to get logged in and all set before we get started. So give us just a minute and we'll get going here. Thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Richard Davis, Director for the Alternative Dispute Resolution Unit at DLI. I want to welcome all of you who've logged in for this week's edition of our Answer Hour. We appreciate you making time and taking time out of your schedules to join us, and we hope you find the information that's being shared, not just today, but over the past several weeks, to be useful and helpful as we get ready for the launch of Campus on November 2nd. Briefly, before we get started, I'll go through and give a couple of quick updates and do some housekeeping. Um, and then I'm going to turn it over to Aaron Frederickson, who will be leading today's session. And again, just remind everyone that if you have questions, comments, what have you during the course of today's presentation, please use the chat function. And I'll also make sure that at the end of today's session, you have a link to the training page as well as our DLI .wcmp inbox. So if you have comments or questions after the session is over, please feel free to send your notes to us using that as well. So again, briefly, just a few updates, and we'll do the demo, and we'll go directly into Q&A, excuse me, for those of you who have questions about campus or the things that are covered during today's session. So real quick, I think most of you who've been on these sessions have seen some version of this. Please go and bookmark the campus training webpage. This is where you can see the latest and greatest information related to WorkComp Campus, including information about upcoming training that's scheduled to take place with registration details. You can also go to this page and find a link to the external technical manual. I would encourage everyone to download this, keep it on your desktop, your laptop, print it out if needed, bookmark it literally for those of us who like our paper and print it out and keep it near your workstation. So if you have questions, that can certainly be a resource for you as campus comes online. Tomorrow, for those of you who've signed up and have registered as group admins, there is group administrator training available tomorrow afternoon from 1 to 3 p.m. If you've not already done so, please register for that. And then just as a reminder to everyone, we will have another campus answer hour set next week. I don't believe that the invitation has gone out yet, but we'll look to schedule it during the same time period, Tuesday over the lunch hour from 12 to 1. And next week, we don't anticipate doing a demonstration. We want that session to be led by you guys, by our users. So come prepared with any questions you might have, some last minute things that you're hoping that we might be able to address, topics to cover, and we certainly want to use that time as effectively as possible. Again, this is something that we're putting together for you in advance of the system coming online on November 2nd, and we certainly hope, anticipate that all will go well with it. But we want to make sure that we arm you with as much information as possible in advance of November 2nd. Beyond our go live date post launch, as a reminder, the workers' comp help desk is currently up and running, and we would encourage everyone to call the help desk for any questions you might have around campus after November 2nd, and you can see the number there. You can also email the help desk at the email address you see listed there, helpdesk.dli@state.mn.us. We will continue to provide answer hour sessions throughout the course of the month of November. Again, that's our way of making sure that we're not leaving people high and dry, but just to make sure that we have a set time to come together. And again, with the idea that if one of you has a question, we certainly anticipate that your colleagues and peers in the industry will have similar thoughts or questions, and we want to address those as much as possible in a shared setting. And then just finally, we do have our video playlist that is available on YouTube. We would encourage people to go there. You can see different modules that have been recorded along with the campus answer hour sessions that you can certainly review and reference at your leisure and as your schedule provides to go to topics that are of particular interest. So there's quite a bit of information that's available. We're doing everything that we believe is appropriate to make sure that you have the support that you needed both before November 2nd and then after November 2nd when the system comes online. If there are no comments or questions, I want to make sure we have plenty of time for our demo today. So I am going to turn it over to Aaron Frederickson. So Aaron, I'll let you take it from here. Thanks.
All righty. Well, thank you very much, Richard. I'm just going to throw some stuff up on my computer screen here. All righty. Well, thank you very much again for joining us. My name is Aaron Frederickson. I'm within the Alternative Dispute Resolution Unit. And today, one of the main topics that I want to cover is, again, a familiarization with the campus dashboard, and then move into some calendaring issues and just make sure that everybody is on the same page. So I'll be monitoring the chat function, and I think Richard's going to be taking a look at that as well. So make sure that you ask your questions, and hopefully we'll have some answers. So again, just wanted to throw this slide up here, and you should be seeing a PowerPoint. This PowerPoint is of the dashboard of campus. So this is what campus is going to look like when you log in to the system, at least in terms of the layout and some of the functions that you're going to be using quite frequently. Let's start out in the upper left-hand corner. The upper left-hand corner, you're saying, hey, you're having me look at the Department of Labor and Industry logo. And I'm saying, hey, isn't it a fine and wonderful logo? This is probably a navigation tool that you're going to be using a lot in terms of you're within a claim details page, a dispute details page, or you're just simply lost and you want to start all over again. Instead of hitting back or logging out, logging back in, simply just click into the upper left-hand corner and you'll get right back to the screen. And I even noticed that the Department of Labor and Industry website functions the same way. I was in there the other day and I clicked on it and it brought me back to the main page. So you learn something new every day, and hopefully I just taught you that one new thing that you're going to learn throughout today. The second item, again, it's located prominently on top and at the center of the page. This is your submit a filing drop down. And this is probably a feature that everyone that's on this presentation will use quite frequently. By submitting a filing, we're talking about accessing a case or a claim by filing a notice of representation on a claim. We're talking about filing or initiating a dispute, and also creating, I guess, kind of like a claim shell, which is a temporary placeholder for a claim on the particular system. Moving over to the right part of the screen, we have a little bell, and that bell is going to help you locate items such as various reminders as they go ahead and pop up. I found that this is quite helpful, at least in terms of when I'm playing around in the campus system, finding different things and kind of that notification. So probably you're going to start your day off in the morning by seeing that, and then there's going to be new notifications that are going to be in this box right here. So again, this is something to kind of give you that quick highlighted look and hopefully kind of just draw your attention to various things as we go across, as you start your day. In the upper right-hand corner, this is going to be your name. It looks like Darth Vader is registered in campus. So surrender to the dark side of the Force, I guess. But that's going to be a drop down where you're going to be able to change your name, change your address, if you change, etc. And group administrators will probably be going to this feature with some frequency. Kind of front and center, we have three main boxes that are going to show new claims, new documents, and upcoming events that are happening. And again, this kind of just gives you a snapshot of where things are within campus, or at least remind you of new alerts. Then we have the My Queues, which you're going to be able to drop down into for new claims. Now, again, remember our terminology that a claim is a date of injury that's tied to a specific employee. And My Disputes, you can have multiple disputes within a particular claim. So an employee gets injured, they have a medical dispute, they have a rehabilitation dispute, etc. They can have multiple medical and vocational rehabilitation disputes. My forms, various forms that you have recently created or need to access, and these are all hyperlinked. And then finally, we have the calendar. Now there's, hopefully we've reiterated this enough. The calendar is going to be one of the things that our schedulers are going to check in terms of your availability. So when a conference is scheduled, it'll be listed on your calendar. When you also have time off from work, it's important to update your calendar. One of the things that I wanted to reiterate is this calendar on the campus system, bullet point number 1, does not automatically sync with calendar that you might have on your personal computer, like a Microsoft Outlook calendar. Bullet point number 2 is this calendar is not the calendar for the Office of Administrative Hearings. So important firm administrators, please reiterate this amongst your team, that just by putting something on one is not going to list it on the other. And that's just given the fact that Department of Labor and Industry is a separate government agency from the Office of Administrative Hearings. So it's important that those things are continually updated as you go about your business. Kind of moving right along, before we actually jump into the campus system, I just wanted to reiterate another bullet point is there was a question the other day regarding forms. Currently on the Department of Labor and Industry website, we maintain a list of forms such as a medical request, a medical response, a rehabilitation request, rehabilitation response, request for certification, etc. At least in terms of a quote unquote list of forms in campus, there is no specific list of forms. As this highlights is we're using the submit a filing drop down that we talked about earlier. And once we submit or click on submit a filing, we're initiating a dispute. We need to then go ahead and locate that particular claim. More often than not, that's going to be a claim that already exists in the campus system. And then from there, we go ahead and choose our action. Moving on is once we choose our action, we're going to answer a series of questions. We're going to answer a series of questions in terms of what are the issues. And at least I like it kind of prompts you. Instead of filling out a box like you currently do, you're going to be answering questions, which ultimately is going to go ahead and prepare a summary, check against your calendar, and then create a medical dispute, a rehabilitation dispute, or a request for mediation. Remember too, the beauty about having people registered within the campus system is that the service of process can be completed automatically if they're a registered user within the system. And it allows for immediate service and confirmation of that particular service.
Hey, Aaron, real quick, we got a question in the chat function around when people will get their login information.
Sure. So in terms of login information, people can go ahead and start logging in and creating their accounts on Monday, November 2nd, when everything goes live. And we'll touch base on that too in a minute or two once we get out of this boring PowerPoint and actually get into the system. So I have another question here too, is OAH will check attorneys' availability in campus when scheduling. You just need to enter your unavailability in campus and both agencies will have access to it. So I guess that's not a question, that's a great reminder. And yes, that's another reason why it's important to make sure that your availability in campus is updated because there are schedulers too at the Office of Administrative Hearings. The Office of Administrative Hearings will have access to campus. They will have access actually to the internal site, which looks somewhat different than the external facing site. On that, they'll have access to attorneys and their calendars. And so if you are scheduled to have an administrative conference on, let's see, whatever tomorrow is. Tomorrow is the 21st, Wednesday, October 21st. And that's been on the calendar. A compensation judge will not have a hearing scheduled with you because it's on your calendar. So I think the important thing is, and I'm sure that OAH would agree when I say update your schedule on C-Track and update your schedule at campus, and that way everyone is happy. Anything additional you want to add to that, Richard, before I move on and jump into campus?
Sorry, nope, I think we're okay there. And thanks to Kendra for entering that into the chat, and thanks for that question. All right.
Yeah. So let's say that it's Monday, November 2nd. I'm going to go into campus. Let's say that I'm an attorney. I'm comfortable giving out my date of birth. Obviously not my, yeah, let's have some fun. So that's my attorney ID number. Just going to add my cell phone here. Going to add in my address. One of the features I like, I just have to put my postal code. Of course, there's probably some people laughing when they know my email address now. Oh, notice the password requirements here. Click on all of the terms and conditions. If you want to read the terms and conditions, you can. Certify that I am not a robot. I always hate all of those things. I'm going to click on sign up. What it's going to do is it's going to send me an email. If this was a real email address, and then I will be a registered user within campus. The department's already reached out to firm administrators and is working with them to kind of set up their entities. So hopefully by 8:30 on Monday morning, everyone will be within their law firm, and we can sing the Lego movie song, Everything is Awesome. So like Richard said, we have a fully staffed help desk, which is a new addition to the department. I've interacted with the help desk on several occasions, and they're doing a great job making sure that questions are answered. They might be a little busy Monday morning, but we just ask for your patience, and hopefully it will be a smooth process. So let's assume now that I've registered as a campus user, and I'm going to go in as the world-renowned defense attorney, Herbert Garrison. I'm going to log in to campus. I got to, again, acknowledge it's probably some legal requirement that the attorneys wanted. And we're within the dashboard. So again, you can kind of see some of the features that I pointed out earlier. The department logo to navigate back, the submit a filing. If I wanted to go ahead and submit a notice of representation, access a case or a claim, file a notice of representation or appearance, the opportunity to file a motion to intervene, etc. The requesting or redeeming access code, that will typically be like an injured employee who can also create an account and have access to his or her workers' compensation records. Reminder or notification button. Again, this is what I was talking about. I can edit my profile. If I wanted to change my middle initial, obviously I'd need to click save, reset my password, change my address, etc. Manage group settings within Garrison Law Firm. Again, I'm freaking out. How do I get back to my homepage? Go to the upper left-hand corner and go back. One of the things that we wanted to focus in on was the calendaring function and feature within campus. So I'm opening my calendar. You can see that I have several administrative conferences that are scheduled. If I want to get details on this administrative conference that's today, I can click on it, and it's what we call opening up the drawer. This is hyperlinked, so I can go ahead and get details. This is an events details page on the event. And I just found out that I'm probably going to be held in contempt of court because my administrative conference was at 8 o'clock this morning. So I hope that the person that was handling it will go light on me as far as a sanction or penalty. I have details. The conference here, as we see, is going to be via telephone. So we have date, time, location via telephone. We have other information in terms of, I lost my little highlighter, whether or not an interpreter was needed, any special modifications. So maybe you are an attorney who represents someone who needs maybe a Spanish-English translator, and you go and navigate into the details page for the particular event, and you realize that no interpreter has been requested. This is an opportunity to contact the department and to go ahead and get an interpreter that's scheduled or translator. Listed attendees, we know who the requesting party is, the insurance carrier, etc. So I can even go ahead and export this and send it to me in an ICS attachment, and it will go ahead and get updated on my Outlook calendar. At least in terms of when this is scheduled, you'll get an email reminder sent to your email with this ICS file. Don't ask me what ICS stands for because I don't know. I'll have to investigate that later on, but it's those little doohickeys that drop down onto your calendar. Let's see, any questions that we have? I'm just going to check the chat box here.
Yeah, we just gotten a question about notice. How will notices for conferences be sent out?
For notices of conferences will be sent out via email. And Richard, correct me if I'm wrong, but will paper copies also be mailed? Or I mean, at least it's my understanding that all of it's going to be electronic service on campus if that participant is registered within the campus system.
That is correct, if they're registered. Yep.
And this is something that the scheduler will know and be aware of. If they're not registered, it will come up in their queue that they have to serve and file a paper copy on them. So I was just talking to Richard earlier, and I was letting Richard know that I'm going to be out of the office on Friday, November 6th, because my oldest daughter scored tickets to the Georgia-Florida football game down in Jacksonville. Richard always likes to dump administrative conferences on me in the last minute. And in fact, the reason why I'm presenting is because he said, Aaron, you're such a great guy. I think that you should go ahead and do the answer hour today. So I need to let Richard know that I'm going to be out of the office. So I'm going to navigate to my November calendar. I'm going to edit update. I'm going to go ahead and click on the edit button that's highlighted. So I'm on November 6th right here. I want to add something. I'm going to be out of the office actually all day. So there's an all day function. Or let's say that, you know, I have a 2 o'clock flight, so I just need to be gone from noon until 4:30. This is leave. Hit save. Now I want to verify that it's on my calendar. I'm going to click here. Looks like I'm out from noon until 4:30. I'm going to close what we call close the drawer. This is the drawer right here. Close it. Let's say then after I set that, Richard says, Aaron, we got to have a meeting on Monday morning when you get back. So I'm going to go ahead. He said, we're meeting right at 8 o'clock. He said it'll only be 30 minutes. So the meeting is going to be at Richard's office. It's a meeting. And now I have added that. Again, one of the important things I want to emphasize is that it's important to update this. Now, if I was an attorney, I would not be in the clear with both of the court systems and workers' compensation because I've only updated my profile on campus. I would need to go into C-Track and update my calendar so a compensation judge does not have something scheduled on Friday or Monday. That's the only way I can guarantee that neither government agency will be scheduling something on my calendar. Any questions on this part? I'm going to go ahead and check the chat box here.
Yeah. Aaron, there's a follow-up question around the notice of conferences that came up, and it's that if a relationship is established with the attorney, will support staff also receive the notice of conference?
Yes. Yes, they will. I think, Richard, you indicated that Angela Anderson is doing a training tomorrow. Was it at 1 o'clock regarding scheduling?
Well, not specifically scheduling, but it's a group administrator training.
Group administrator training. Yeah, and I would direct additional, more detailed questions regarding, the establishment of relationships during those times. Or again, Richard, let me know if this is appropriate to email this dli.wcmp@state.mn.us with questions that people can ask regarding the administration.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, we got a little feedback there. Yeah, I would absolutely encourage folks to reach out to us at that email address. It looks like there are quite a few comments that were populating the chat with different questions about. Sorry about that. There were questions that had come up where people were saying that they had not been able to connect with DLI, or they just had some concerns about getting set up as a group administrator. So for those of you who mentioned that during the chat, please connect with us via the email address dli.wcmp@state.mn.us, and then that way we should be able to follow up with you. I do see that a few people, or at least one person, said that they had gone through and they've done the training, and they're also signed up for tomorrow. But just to make sure that everyone is getting, what they need, please connect with us immediately, and then that way we can get this turned around as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and just based upon my experience, Richard, I'm seeing a lot of really good questions coming in from the firm support teams regarding this issue. I think one of the benefits of campus is it's going to allow and hopefully make their job easier in terms of managing several attorneys. I think too, I've seen a lot of similar questions as far as the functionality of the groups from smaller employee attorneys, where your firm administrator is the receptionist, is the accounts receivable, is the IT person. So keep those questions coming. and we can continue to provide answers regarding them. So I think one of the things that we wanted to accomplish today is just really emphasize the importance of the calendar and keeping it updated. I would also encourage too is that each attorney be responsible for creating their own account. Having been an attorney myself, I know that it's really easy to say, well, you know, I'm just too busy to do this and someone else needs to do it. I think back to a personal experience when the firm I was at got a document management system, and I really forced myself to learn the system and how to perform some of the functions. And I think at the end of the day, it will help people better manage their workflow and how they want to interact with their legal teams, and hopefully help make their law firm environment more productive. But I think it really all starts with people taking the time to at least register. And I've registered a number of test accounts myself, and I've not had any problems, and it doesn't take much more than a few minutes to complete everything. The one thing I did want to emphasize is naming and names used. So at least this is Herbert Garrison. If everyone calls him Herb and he signs documents Herb, that might want to be how he's going to register his account. If I would go ahead and create a document and try and sign things as Herb Garrison, the system will not let me do it. So it needs to match. That's the important thing. I guess honestly, I would have a personal preference if everyone just used their legal name that they were given. I know that at least that's one thing I'm thankful for. You can't really shorten Aaron unless you want to take the Keen and Peele approach and call me Ron. But I don't know. It's kind of tough for you, Richard. So I mean, you have a name that can be, you know, Rick, and yeah, it's. I'm glad that you just go by Richard. It's a lot easier to remember. So
there you go.
Anything else that we want to demo here for this answer hour? We're at 37 minutes. I do have a hard stop at noon because I have a 1 o'clock training session where I'll be demonstrating how to initiate a dispute.
Aaron, I appreciate this. Thank you. I think there's been a lot of good information covered today. And again, thanks to everyone for the questions and comments that are coming in through the chat. A couple of things I just wanted to follow up on. Again, it looks like we've got quite a few people who are saying that they are having issues with having signed up for the training that's scheduled for tomorrow, the group administrator training. But they've not got links, or they're just having, you know, some concern about making sure that that's been taken care of. For those of you who do have issues, yeah, I see folks writing in now say that they didn't get a ticket. I would just say, you know, connect with us via the inbox, dli.wcmp, and let us know who you are, give us your contact information, all that, and we can follow back up with you. Yeah, I've been having major problems with Eventbrite. I'll sign up and then it says I never did. It says I need to register. Yeah, again, with you know, time is of the essence here. The training is set for tomorrow afternoon, and we want to make sure, again, as Aaron has covered today, group administrator issues are definitely something that we want to address, and that's why we scheduled that very specific training. So connect with us via the inbox, and that way, hopefully, we'll be able to get this resolved and do some troubleshooting between now and tomorrow afternoon for those of you who are interested in taking the group admin training. Okay. I also wanted to follow back up on something that was written in earlier um, in the inbox around scheduling. Excuse me, and for those of you who've been communicating your unavailability directly to us at DLI. So between now leading up to November 2nd, those of you who have submitted unavailable time to us at email, we've been using that to go through the process of manually scheduling mediations and conferences. But at the end of the day, as we obviously move forward with campus, the goal is to make sure that this is done using the system. So it will be paramount that you keep your calendars up to date in campus. Um, and I'm looking here right now. The position says so, and that's why I wanted to circle back on that, Robin. Yeah, and Kendra is speaking to this. So if you keep your information up to date in campus, OAH has access to campus for purposes of checking and making sure that when they're scheduling proceedings, we can reduce double booking and the need for continuances and those requests. So the place to go, the place to make sure that you are keeping your information up to date and accurate is campus. OEH will have access, DLI will have access, and that is what we're going to use to ensure or to work to ensure that double bookings are kept to a minimum along with the requests for continuances. So apologize for any confusion there, but the main takeaway that I would say to everyone is the campus portal is where you should make sure you are keeping your unavailable time up to date. All right. And we'll be sending out some more messaging around that. I know we've sent out a few things in the past, and we'll certainly do more of that just to reduce any confusion and make sure that everyone is aligned. Also, there was a question about what to file where. There was a link that's provided. That information is both on OEH's website. I think I found it, just looked on OEH's website first. About what needs to be filed where. We've sent out some communications around that. We'll revisit that again between now and go live to make sure that people are aware of what needs to be filed at OAH and what needs to be filed with DLI. Again, in the spirit of making sure that everyone is on the same page and we can reduce that confusion between now or actually once on campus goes live on the 2nd with the new system. Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking to see if there's some more things that are coming in.
Yeah, I was just looking to. So we got conflicting answers on the calendar in question. Chat said OEH will check the DLI campus calendar, but the presenter is saying to update the OAH calendar.
Yeah, we just spoke, and I just spoke to that, Aaron, to clarify. And again, messaging has gone out, and we'll resend it. But again, for purposes of this audience today, I just want to make sure that everyone's aware that if you keep your calendar updated in campus, then that's what's needed. OEH will be checking unavailability in campus so that when they're scheduling proceedings, they can try to avoid double bookings and the need for continuances to be requested. Now, the separate systems, C-Track at OEH, campus at DLI, the systems are going to continue to be separate. But the main thing for purposes of scheduling that we want to communicate here today is that once campus is live, attorneys should enter their unavailable time directly into campus. And in doing so, DLI staff and OAH staff will be able to look at the schedule and make sure that they are planning accordingly so that we can avoid scheduling conflicts. So do attorneys need to block off their OAH proceedings on the Dolly calendar then? That is a good question. If it's unavailable time, if it qualifies or under the guise of unavailable time, I would encourage everyone to do that. Kelsey, if I'm saying your name right, in response to your question, yes. You're welcome. Thank you for asking. And these are all great questions. These are the sorts of things that, as we're moving forward, it may seem like a small thing, but spell with an Kelsey. Okay, got it. Thank you. But yeah, that's why we're here, is to address these issues and make sure that we're aligned in our expectations moving forward. Okay. So yeah, so I feel like we've got a couple of big things here that have been covered, in addition to Aaron just again sort of walking us through and providing just a good navigation of the system. Again, for today, looks like we need to make sure that for those of you who are interested in attending the group admin training tomorrow, again, please send your contact information to us directly to the DLI inbox, so that we can, or that DLI.WCMP inbox, so that we can follow up with you about tomorrow and make sure that you have what you need. Looks like we're having some issues with Eventbrite, but we want to make sure that we follow up with you and get what you need, so that you can get registered, get your registration confirmed, and you can attend tomorrow. And then, sorry, so we have a question. I attended the group admin class last week. Is tomorrow's class a duplicate? It's another session. So in the sense that, will the same information be covered? The answer is yes, Virginia. We're providing the different trainings at different times because not everyone is able to attend. And we want to just make sure that everyone is able to take part. But that's a good question. Thank you for that. And I'm just typing something in the chat here. Bear with me. I'm showing the world that I'm not the world's fastest typist. And there's the web address. It's not doing the hyperlink, but yeah, DLI.WCMP. For those of you who are interested in tomorrow's group admin training, please go ahead and reach out, and then that way we'll be able to do what we can behind the scenes to confirm registration. So thanks to everyone for those issues. And again, just to reiterate the discussion around scheduling, between now and the second, for all intents and purposes, I think we're kind of locked in there. I know a lot of people have been sending their unavailable time directly to us at DLI, and that's been used to sort of manually navigate things and ensure that proceedings were scheduled accordingly. But after November 2nd, once campus is up and running, OAH is going to check parties' availability in campus. So the main takeaway is keep unavailable time up to date and accurate in campus. And that is what is going to be used by both OAH and by DLI as we move forward with booking conferences and other scheduled proceedings. So that's a great thing. I'm hoping that everyone has been able to take out of today, is that the main repository for your unavailable time is campus. Okay. All right. Any other questions, comments, things that we might cover here in our last few minutes together. And Aaron, it looks like we have a specific question for you as far as contact info. Did he already drop off?
Oh, no, I'm here.
Okay, great.
Okay. I'm just going to reply to that directly.
Sure. Makes sense. And for those of you, again, go to the training page if you're interested in attending the trainings that Aaron and his co-presenter Brian Mack have scheduled between now and the end of this week and even going into next week. Look at the training schedule and you can see what's available on the training page. There are a few different things that are being covered. Campus 101, our session 1 for access to documents, session 2 around how to initiate a dispute, and scheduling. Each of those is listed on the training page, and we do have different sessions that are upcoming in the days ahead. All right. So, with that, if there are no other questions or comments, we'll go ahead and give everyone back the gift of time, about 8 minutes or so. Again, we thank you for participating in today's answer hour. And at any time, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out. We're here for you, and we want to do everything we can to make sure that the rollout of campus is successful. Thank you, and we look forward to speaking with you again next week. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.